Starting with the Korean ribs, and they're really famous for these. That is so good, and they're completely melt in mouth, super caramelized as well. Now we have the brisket. That's insane.
Yes, in the US, I can breathe. I can breathe there, and I don't feel this competition.
Let me put this into perspective. The entire United Kingdom is the size of Oregon. One state.
For all the people in the back. First, air conditioning. I grew up in Europe and we did not have air conditioning for most of the time.
They're not talking about Idaho. They're never talking about Iowa.
Backwards though.
I think everyone could learn a thing or two from Americans. I was just walking in Soho and this guy came running around the corner and he was like, "Excuse me, you have great..."
What if moving to America could actually change the way you see yourself? I went through dozens of reactions from Europeans, Australians, Canadians, Russians, and other foreigners living in America, and something really interesting kept coming up. They weren't just talking about money, weather, or big cities, they kept talking about confidence. People said Americans compliment strangers, start conversations, approach people they like, make friends more easily, and openly express themselves. Some European women even said American men completely changed their expectations when it comes to dating. But here's where it gets interesting. Are Americans genuinely more confident and friendly? Or are foreigners simply experiencing a culture that is more comfortable with being loud, direct, positive, and expressive? And there's another side nobody should ignore. Some people moved to America and felt more free, more ambitious, and more confident, while others admitted that after the excitement disappeared, they felt lonely, overwhelmed, and homesick. So today, let's separate the hype from reality and talk about what these foreigners are actually telling us about America.
I think everyone could learn a thing or two from Americans. I was just walking in Soho and this guy came running around the corner and he was like, "Excuse me, you have great cheekbones, I hope you have a great day," and then just walked off. Like, not hitting on me, just was like, "Just need to let you know." And I found that a lot on this trip. Like, Americans are genuinely just so friendly and so nice and so down to make new connections. Like, London could never, Australia even could never, because Australia, everyone's just so cliquey. And then London, everyone's like too cool for school, you know what I mean? Whereas like genuinely, I just love it. Honestly, Americans are so nice.
Why do British people come to America and feel blown away? Let me put this into perspective. The entire United Kingdom is the size of Oregon. One state. So when we come to America, just the scale alone is so difficult for us to even comprehend. And then when every state, region, etc. feels like its own country and has its own culture and own style, its own identity, its own history, its own culture, it becomes like a fascination, well, for us specifically, to want to see more. Over the last 2 weeks, we have been very fortunate to be able to go from Lake Winnipesaukee, which is in New Hampshire, all the way down to Martha's Vineyard. And before anyone says anything, yes, we've been very fortunate to be able to stay with friends. The point is, those two places are in one small region of the United States, a very beautiful region that I happen to live in. I do believe from a lot of comments that I've seen, it is an underrated region of the United States. But think about that for 1 second. Lake Winnipesaukee is peaceful, it's rustic, it's outdoorsy, nobody really cares what they look like, everyone's just very chill. It's mountains, it's forests, it's lake life. And then just a few hours away, you have obviously the Cape, but then Martha's Vineyard. And it just feels like you stepped into a completely different place. Doing that in a space of 2 weeks blows your mind. Beautiful beaches, coastal villages, and Native American history, a lot of African American history. Oak Bluffs in particular has a really rich African American history, which is so amazing to learn about. This is a history we knew very little about. Before visiting, I was very surprised to see how culturally diverse it was. And I absolutely loved that surprise because it completely changed the way we saw the whole island. And I'll say it again, this is a one very small region of America. Every trip that I take reminds me there's so much more to learn. So many Americans that I've met prefer to go on vacation outside of the US. They love going to Europe. And I totally understand that. But I get so many messages of people saying that I've influenced them or made them want to travel their own country more. And I think that that is so amazing, and you should, because there's so much here for you to learn, for you to see.
You know why I feel so happy in the US? I can express myself in every aspect. The way I I speak, the way I dress, the way I walk, even like in my business, in my project, in my creativity, I can just be me. And you know, like I went to the doctor and I have this diagnosis and I'm like, fuck this. And it's the consequences of what happens when you have to shrink, when you cannot express yourself, when you just have to check some boxes because you have to be that way or that way, and you cannot just be yourself, express yourself fully, when you feel that you're living in a cage. And this is what happens. I'm sorry, I love my country so much, but there's something that feels so off. 2 days ago, I was walking, like, and I had a shirt and I was not wearing bra because I don't need a bra and that's fucking it, you know, like, and I don't need any justification. But people were just looking at me as if I was a problem, because that's the reality. When you walk here, people, they judge you. If you dare to dream too big or just to dream, it's not allowed. It's not allowed. You cannot really express yourself. And of course, it exists also in the US. You have to check some boxes because in the end, it's the cutest, the skinniest, and things like that. Like, I'm talking to women, especially, who are going to win. But in the end, yes, in the US, I can breathe. I can breathe there. And I don't feel this competition as much, like with women, as much as I can feel it here in France. That's why I love the US so much. And I don't fucking care about what other things about the US. Because even myself, I was like full of cliche before moving to the US. But then I moved there and I fell in love there. It was never my dream, but damn, it changed me so much. It changed me so much. And I'm deeply, deeply grateful for everything that happened in my life that brought me there. Damn, I love the US so much.
America changed the whole trajectory of my life. It taught me how to be hospitable. It's literally the reason why I built my whole company. Cultural shift is insane. In America, people will support you. It's not as hard in America. If you're successful, if people see something good in you, they are going to give you opportunity. Example, I have a friend, she has a $3 million company, and I'm telling you, I don't really know anyone with a $3 million company in the UK who I'm close with. But, you know, she's so welcoming to me. She's telling me all these things. She's really inspiring. And I'm like, I don't get that in the UK, because in the US, people don't gatekeep.
I don't understand as a European living in the US. First, air conditioning. I grew up in Europe and we did not have air conditioning for most of the time. We just had a big old fan and that was going on the entire day. Second, free refills. Now hear me out because I'm not complaining. In Europe, there is no such a thing as free refills. If you purchase a drink in a restaurant or anywhere really, you have to buy another one in order to have a refill. When I first experienced this, I was shocked because I thought I have to pay again and again and again. A bidet or pissoir, we just have toilets. That's it. Third, the windows. So in Europe, we open the window like this, towards us. But in the States, I noticed that you open a window and then you open it this way. So it's more like a vertical opening and not a horizontal opening. Like if you want to hear the other 5.
One thing I've noticed as an American living in Europe is that when Europeans say, I want to live in America, they're not talking about Idaho. They're never talking about Iowa or Indiana. They're always talking about Florida, New York, or California. I feel like sometimes Europeans are just forgetting about the whole middle half of the country there. Or at least this is my experience as a Czech American living in the Czech countryside. And I get a lot of people being like, oh my God, I wish I could live in the US. And in my head, I'm just like, okay, 1 second. I'll tell you what, these people are never saying, I wish I could live in Kentucky or I wish I could live in Idaho. These people want to live in the places they see in the movies. I'm talking about ULA and New York. Don't get me wrong, I literally lived in California for 8 years, but I lived in a couple places around the US. And I just find it funny how people conveniently forget about the whole middle part.
It breaks my heart how underappreciated American men are by women here. We don't even have half of the standards you guys have for men here. They work out, they are good looking. They open the door. Like, it never happened that I go out with an American man and he doesn't open the door for me. It's crazy. Yes, they yup, but in general, they check all the boxes. Sometimes I want to send American women, a portion of them, to Russia so they educate and they will be like, whoa. It could get worse. It could get so fucking worse that I moved to another country just for dating. Guys, it's not funny. You guys really don't recognize your privilege here, but that's fine. More for me and for my friends. This whole account is promoting Russian women to American men, whatever.
I think everyone could learn a thing or two from Americans. I was just walking in Soho and this guy came running around the corner and he was like, excuse me, you have great cheekbones, I hope you have a great day, and then just walked off. Like, not hitting on me, just was like, just need to let you know. And I found that a lot in this trip. Like, Americans are genuinely just so friendly and so nice and so down to make new connections. Like, London could never, Australia even could never, because Australia, everyone's just so cliquey. And then London, everyone's like too cool for school, you know what I mean? Whereas like genuinely, I just love it. Honestly, Americans are so nice.
I feel like the American confidence gets a lot of criticism, but it's something that I've really appreciated as a foreigner. We were literally just walking Venice Beach and Joe sneezes and some guy comes up and he's like, oh, bless you. And then as we're walking along the beach, this lady comes up to me and she approaches me in such a like familiar, friendly way that I genuinely thought she was talking to someone else. And she said like, oh my God, I love your shirt. And by the time she'd kind of walked off, I kind of realized, oh shit, she was talking to me. And I turned around and quickly said thank you. But it was just the way she approached me. It was so easy. And it was like she was talking to a friend of hers, which is like why I was so confused.
As an Australian, here's something that I did not expect to love about Texas. And it's really surprised me. People here are just really friendly. Strangers just talk to you everywhere and anywhere. At first, I was like, why are people talking to me all the time? Like, not in a bad way, but like, you know, I'm not used to strangers just having chit chat in a supermarket. But now that I'm used to it, I actually really love it. It's so nice. I had a very quick chat with a lady in the bread aisle yesterday at the supermarket and talking about how expensive everything is. Just a quick passing conversation with someone and she was so sweet. I love that. I love that about Texas. I love how friendly people are.
Okay, hear me out. Aussie men are fine, alright? But let's be real. They're like all copy and paste. Same haircut, same pub every Friday, same yeah, nah, how's the weather, fucking boring combos. Like, where's the effort? Where's the charm? Half the time they can't even text back without acting like it's hard fucking labor. Then there's Americans, and it's a whole different vibe. Like, they actually hype you up, full on confidence, telling you you're gorgeous, instead of acting like paying a fucking compliment is gonna kill them. They'll actually plan dates, not just come to mine and we'll watch the footy. They've got energy, they've got ambition, they want to take you to places. Even when they argue, they do it with passion, instead of just shutting down like a fucking brick wall. So yeah. Maybe I've just been dating in the wrong country, because American men, you've officially got my attention.
I'm a Brit who moved to Dallas, Texas last year, and I want to talk about one of the main things I always get asked after moving here, and that is, what is the biggest difference between Texas and the UK, or what is the thing that you love the most about living in Texas now? And one of the biggest differences is the people. Like, I cannot get over how friendly everyone is here. It's so different to the UK, specifically London. London is like a dead city. Like, it is so hard to make friends in London. I've been living there pretty much my whole life and I haven't made one friend in London, aside from like my core friend group, obviously from school and things like that. I've been in Texas now for like 8 months and I can't even tell you how many times people will just come up to you and talk to you. Like, I think it's like a Southern thing, and like people just have that Southern hospitality. But I'll go to like a Pilates class and then it will finish and a girl will come up to me and be like, hey, do you want to grab a coffee after this? What's your name? And I'm like so shocked by that. I can't get over how welcoming people are. I mean, even when you go to like the checkouts in the food shop places like Trader Joe's, the checkout people are so nice. They'll just talk to you for like ages and like ask you questions and smile at you. And I just find that the people are like next caliber level of friendly. And it's so nice. Like I've made really good friends here, and I've probably made more friends living in Texas for the last 8 months than I have in London my whole life, which is insane when you think about it. But yeah, I just wanted to say that is one of the main differences, and it's always the one I talk about when people ask, because it's definitely like one of the main selling points for me. It's just how nice and lovely people are.
So I literally just complimented someone's bunny ears on the street and they gave them to me. That's how nice people are in America. It's so cute.
I'm gonna dunk myself in an American river. I'm gonna do it backwards though. Woo!
I've just left my apartment, yeah, and I'm going for a walk, and I'm getting people wave at me, which is crazy. Because in the UK, like if you go for a walk down the street, no one waves at you. Like people just want to look you up and down, don't want to fight. Here, people are waving at me at being so nice and polite. That actually blows my mind. See, people want to talk to me. People want to make noises at me. I don't know what's that about. Wee. She went, wee. I was like, okay, do wee to you, not to me. But no, people are so much nicer here. In the morning anyway. But I've got another story about people not being so nice. That's coming next.
I'm about to try Texas barbecue for the first time in Texas, so I thought I could take you guys with me. Let's go. We're here. Starting with the Korean ribs, and they're really famous for these. That is so good, and they're completely melt in mouth. Super caramelized as well. Now we have the brisket. That's insane. Love the fatty part. So tender, so juicy. They're really famous for their fusion sides, and they all look amazing. Cucumber salad. Korean fried rice. Let's try their baked mac and cheese. That's some of the best mac and cheese ever. Dry rub ribs. I just can't believe how juicy and tender the meat is. I'm definitely a Texas barbecue fan.
For all the people in the back, the US has a culture that rewards ambition. Also, some states have no state income tax. And as well, it is the best economy in the world. Like, it's a no-brainer. I've encountered a lot of Americans that do not know how well they have it. I would exchange my Canadian passport for their US citizenship any day. And some Americans who were handed that at birth spend their days telling people how horrible it is. You were given something at birth that millions of people are trying desperately to earn, and you are complaining about it. That's not ungratefulness, that's just embarrassing.
First of all, I think there's a very important distinction we need to make. A lot of these people aren't necessarily saying that America is perfect. They're saying that the culture feels different. And honestly, that difference can have a huge psychological effect. One of the biggest things I noticed throughout these stories is the idea of social openness. You've got people from Germany, Italy, France, the UK, Australia, Russia, and Canada, all describing similar experiences. Someone compliments them in public. A stranger starts a conversation. Someone invites them for coffee. A cashier talks to them. Someone approaches them simply because they like their shirt, hair, or shoes. And to an American, some of these things might sound completely normal. But to someone from a culture where people tend to be more reserved, it can